Assalamu alaikum everyone. A very warm welcome to Learn Correct English. I hope that you have immense help in solving out your daily queries in English, and I hope that you are all learning with all the concepts that I am giving here. So today's topic is looking inside sentences. So we have to basically first recognize what a sentence is. All right. So moving ahead. Can you guess here what is a verb from these examples? I see a brown bear. I see a blue bird. I see the red crab. Can you pick out the verb? So for your easiness, I would like to tell you here that the word see is a verb. As it is an action verb, it is doing something. Like someone is actually looking at a brown bear. Someone is seeing a brown bear. All right. So the C word here basically means verb. So this is another new, I think that this would be a new concept to all of you people. Like what is finite verb, what is non-finite verb. So before going into the depth, I would like to explain what is a finite verb. Finite verb are basically those verbs that show us about the tense of an action. Like for example, here if we are saying, I see a brown bear. Here we have to see that the verb see, ये जो एक verb है, यहाँ पर see, ये हमें बता रहा है कि ये जो action हो रहा है, either it is taking place in present, either it is taking place in past, or it is taking place in the future. So from from this verb, we can see, we can also say this, that I see a brown bear. Here, this see, this first form of the verb represents the present tense of the sentence. All right. So finite verbs are those verbs which basically tells us about the tense of the action, in which time that action has occurred. किस टाइम में वो एक काम हुआ है. तो जैसे ये है कि आई सी अ ब्राउन बियर, मैं एक ब्राउन बियर को देखता हूँ. इसका क्या मतलब है कि मैं देखता हूँ. मैं यानी प्रेजेंट में कोई काम ऐसा हो रहा है आजकल के दौर में कि मैं ये चीज देख रहा हूँ. ये है फाइनाइट वर्ब्स. ठीक है. अब ये एक सेंटेंस है, माई ब्रदर वेंट टू स्कूल टू बिकम एन इंजीनियर. So from here we can identify that my brother went to school to become an engineer. Here the verb went is a finite verb because it is telling us about the pastness of the action. Like when my brother went to school, he went obviously in the past. बहुत पहले वो कभी जाता होगा स्कूल. ठीक है, इंजीनियर बनने के लिए. But here we have an additional verb that is non-finite verb. So, in order to clarify the ambiguity, the confusion which you people might notice in these two forms of verbs, one is the finite verb, one is the non-finite verb. So, आप लोग ये confusion दूर करते हैं वो ऐसे कि जो finite verb है वो हमें tense के बारे में बताता है, वो हमें timing के बारे में बताता है, और वो जो अपनी form है उसको change करता है. जैसे went की first form क्या है, go. ठीक है, तो वो go की form उसने change कर ली और went आ गया. इसी तरह हम नॉन फाइनाइट वर्ब की तरफ जब आएंगे तो हम देखेंगे कि ये ऐसे वर्ब्स होते हैं जो अपनी जो है एक तो फॉर्म नहीं चेंज करते, बिकम बिकेम नहीं बना यहाँ पर, और दूसरी बात ये कि ये अपना टेंस शो नहीं करते. इस टू बिकम एन इंजीनियर, इससे हमें नहीं पता चल रहा कि इंजीनियर उसने अभी बनना है, बन गया है, या बनने वाला है. ठीक है. तो ये एक बेसिक डिफरेंस है फाइनाइट वर्ब में और नॉन फाइनाइट वर्ब में. और यहाँ पर एक बेसिक ट्रिक है. Here is a basic trick in order to identify the finite verb. You have to pick that verb which is coming right after the subject. That verb would be the finite verb. All right. Or you can test an application in order to test what is a finite verb. You can change the form. If you are actually noticing at the sentence, if the form of the verb has been changed, then that verb is the finite verb. If the verb is not changing its form in this sentence, like for example, to become an engineer, here to become is non-finite verb. All right. I hope that this is very, very clear to you now. So let us move forward. So here is a basic definition. A verb that is finite is allowed to be the only verb in an independent clause. All right. So if we have only one verb in a sentence, like I see a brown bear, उस example में अगर हम देखें, so and there we can say that the only verb see that is present over there is the finite verb. If you find an independent clause with just one verb in it, it is likely to be finite. So basically, we are having here different types of finite verbs. These finite verbs can be auxiliaries. These finite verbs can be the main verb. Like an example, I see the brown bear. There, the verb see. वहाँ पर ये जो verb है see वो main verb है. Alright. And when we are coming towards the auxiliaries, we are having two different types of auxiliaries. One is primary, one is models. So when we are going towards the primary auxiliary, it would be be, was, be, D, have. And in B, we have all the forms is, MR, was, were, be, being, being. Is, MR, you already know that it is used for the present tense, was, were, these are used for the past tense, and be, being, this means that something is happening in a continuity. All right. And when we look at the forms of the verbs, that is D. So D also changes its form, like does and did. All right. So it's not D, it's do. It's a typo error here. So this does shows the present form. This did shows the past form. So this is how these primary auxiliaries are telling us about the pastness, the presentness of the tense. So that is why these primary auxiliaries are termed as finite verbs. And when we move towards the modal auxiliaries, the case is different here, but they are also considered as the finite verbs. For example, will changes it into word, shall into should, may into might. But there are some model like ought to, used to, need, dare. They don't change their forms of verbs. All right. They just stay in the form they are. All right. But still, we will consider these model auxiliaries as the finite form of the verbs. I hope that the finite form of the verbs is very, very clear to you, people. And if you have any queries, don't hesitate to ask me, all right? So this is another example. And here we have to see like how auxiliaries can function as main verbs. Here a person is asking a question, do you like frogs? So here we have two verbs like do and like. Here, how can we identify which one is the finite verb? If we change the this question into an answer statement, into a simple statement, then it would be yes, I do. All right. The first verb which is coming right after the subject would be the finite verb. So here do is acting as the main verb. So these are all the primary auxiliaries, and I have shared it already with you people. There are some sentences. She has known him for 10 years. They did not like him very much. In the first sentence, the has is showing us that it is for present tense. In the second sentence, they did not. The here did basically shows us that this action has taken place in the past. So that is why they are considered as finite verbs. And then we have here have and be. There is another peculiar point that is to be noted for have and be. These have and be can be used as main verbs. They can also be used as a spectral auxiliaries. So when we move towards the main verbs, like for example, Kim is not sure about that. I had a cold last week. Where we don't have a specific main verb or lexical verb, we would be using the forms of be, that is, them, are, has, have. These all forms would be used basically for helping the function of the main verb. All right. So let us move towards the aspectual auxiliaries. In the aspectual auxiliaries, we are basically noticing this concept that these aspectual auxiliaries basically tells us about the perfectness and imperfectness uh, of an action. Like the action which is taking place right now, has it been completed or not? Uh, or has it been completed in the past? Or would it be completed in the future or not? So these are the spectral auxiliaries, like Joe has often written, played, sung to me. They have been enjoying weather lately. All right. So this is another type of verb, that is non-finite verb. In non-finite verb, basically we have three categories. One is infinitive, one is gerund, one is participle. So whenever we look towards any verb that is coming with the two, we would be calling it infinitive. Whenever a verb is found by adding ing, that verb plus ing form would be taken as a noun. These special forms of the noun are called gerunds. They work as a gerund. And when we come towards the participles, they are basically present participle, past participle, and perfect participle. But here you might notice that these present, past, and perfect participle do not tell us about the tense of the sentence or the timings in which that action has taken place. All right, that is why these three categories are termed as non-finite verbs. Like for example, here we have I want to go to school. Here, to go is basically telling us about infinite form. And I have already said that if verb, that is go, here comes with to, it would be an infinitive form of the verb. That to go is not showing us any action that is taking place in the future, that is taking place in the present or in the past. All right. So these are some of the examples of non-finite verbs. And then we have gerund. In gerund, we would be noticing verb plus ing form, like banking is one of my favorite hobbies. Here, banking is not considered as the verb because this form of verb is basically attached to ing form, and banking is basically telling us about that banking is an activity, all right, or it is a hobby of someone. So banking in itself is a noun, all right, it is a gerund. That is why this is considered as a non-finite form of verb, as banking is not telling us about the action that is being taken place. So let us now move towards another example. We have you need the highest number of points to win. All right. So basically, here the main verb, the finite verb is need. All right, as it is telling us about the compulsion. Here, need is the modal auxiliary. All right, and I have told you that modal auxiliaries are finite verbs. And here, the adverbial infinitive is basically telling us that how you would be winning and which manner you would be winning. You would be winning if you score the highest number of points. So, to win is considered an infinitive. Like I told you that whenever a verb comes with the to, so that to plus verb form is considered as infinitive, and it is not telling us about any tense of the sentence. So now we have till now, I hope that all these concepts are very clear to you people, and I hope that I have made English easy for you. And if you have any queries, any questions regarding any concept, you can always comment and always approach me. I will be there to guide you people. And now let us move towards participles. We have two types of participles. One is present participle, one is past participle. In the present participle, we know that it is the first form of the verb, and when we combine ing, it works as an adjective, like the ship sings in the rising waves. All right. So this rising is not telling us about the time of the action, like at what time the waves were rising. And then when we have the past participle, in past participle, we would be using the third form of the verb, and it would also function as an adjective. Like for example, it is a part of broken jar. Here, the third form of the verb, that is broken, break, broke, broken, that broken third form of the break is used. And this broken is not telling us about the time. Alright, that is why it is non-finite verb. And then we have perfect participles, having plus verb, third form of verb, and like having done my duty, I went home. Here, having done is considered as non-finite, as it is not telling us about the action that is taking place in past, in future, or in whatever the time it was. And here, I went home. Here, went is the um finite form of the verb. Like for example, here we can say that he went home in yesterday or 2 days before college. So I hope that these all the concepts about verb and the different forms of verb are now clear to you people, and you people can easily shift towards learning the tenses of English. I hope that you people must be learning, you people must be watching my videos, and you people must be subscribing to my YouTube channel. And I'm here to ease your difficulties, to soothe down your storms, and I hope that I'm successful in this. And this is all from my side for today. Don't forget to subscribe my channel. It means a lot to me. It gives me motivation to help you people. And that is all from Learn Correct English. Thank you.